From the land of lakes, this is 10,000 Takes. Brought to you by Minnesota Score Radio. Wally and Eric back for yet another week, and we are ecstatic you've tuned us in, and hard to believe we're into late April / early May, and there's a lot for us to get into as usual, but we're going to mix it up a bit.
Okay.
You and I are going to get to play commissioner today.
About time.
Yeah. All of the major sports, NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, we believe should be run better and have some rule changes. So go ahead. We're going to start with Major League Baseball, currently in session, as everybody knows. Give me some ideas you'd like to see with what used to be America's pastime.
Yeah, it's no longer America's pastime. Well, they need to fix their TV deals, that's for sure. I think the local TV contracts are a mess right now. You've got, look, the first thing I would do, actually, before I'd fix the TV deals, get rid of Rob Manfred. Find yourself a commissioner that actually cares about baseball and not about his bottom line. That's all he cares about. But as for the game, let's start with the TV contracts, because I think that's a big deal right now. I think that, people don't know where to find their team. They don't know when it's on, if it's on some streaming service, if it's on over the air. There are more over the air this year than before because they have the NBC contract, so that's a good thing. But the local TV contracts are a mess right now. I mean, I'm not sure where that's going to go. The regional networks are all dried up by this point for most of the country, including here in Minnesota. So, yeah, we need to fix it. And fixing it is not going to be easy because, as I said, the regional contracts of the regional networks are gone. So how do you fix it? You know my answer to that. Put them on over the air. Put them on Fox 9 or something. Not just 10 games a year. As much of the schedule as you could possibly imagine.
All right. Well, I'll take the jet stream off your broadcasting theory there and drill it down a bit.
Okay.
From now on, if you're going to hire an analyst for a radio or television broadcast,
Yes.
whether it's local or national, that analyst cannot constantly tell us what pitch the pitcher just threw. Occasionally, yes, I can handle that. But I do not want to hear cutters and sliders and sweepers and all this stuff throughout an entire broadcast. It's minutia. It's boring. You're not going to lure in any fringe fans that way. For all those guys who break down a game that way, and there's a ton of them now, it's spread through baseball broadcasting like a cancer. Go become a pitching coach. Find a job where that's what you need to tell your pitcher. I want somebody who entertains me. I want a storyteller. I want somebody who can paint a picture, have some fun. Baseball games are long. They drag on. Have a little bit of fun with it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay. As far as the game itself, a lot of baseball right now is either all or nothing. They're either striking out or they're hitting it over the fence. And that needs to change, too. They're taking away maybe the most exciting play in baseball, the triple. You don't see it anymore because guys are trying to hit it over the fence. And if they don't hit it over the fence, they're striking out. And the fielders are falling asleep out there because the guys are either striking out or walking because they're trying to drive up the pitch count of the guy on the mound. It has become time after time after time. Try to hit the ball and put it in play. Play some more small ball. I would love to see more teams playing small ball. Right now, it's just not happening enough.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm going to also shrink the season. Quit starting your regular season in late March. March baseball is for games in Arizona, Cactus League, Florida, Grapefruit League. Start your season like you used to right after the Final Four and let it begin in Cincinnati, which had a great tradition not that long ago that they've blown up because your guy Rob Manfred doesn't care about MLB tradition. You need to start in early April. You're still going to have some cold weather games, no doubt about it, in Minneapolis, Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, places like that. But you will minimize that because even a week later can help you out when it comes to weather. So please stop giving us a regular season that starts in late March. Yuck.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. We could get rid of and get down to the analytics and all that stuff, but there are a lot of things that baseball needs to change. But I think we scratched the surface there for you. All right. Your favorite commissioner, Roger Goodell, the National Football League's commissioner, boy, he's got his hands full there too. He likes to change things daily. I mean, they're changing things in the middle of the season sometimes.
Yeah,
they change rules more than you change your drawers.
Wow. I'm hearing about 4-point field goals now. Come on, Commissioner Goodell, pump the brakes on some of this stuff. Let's eliminate Thursday Night Football. Yes, you can still take the billions from Amazon Prime. Just move that game to Monday. There's not a player in the NFL that wants to play on Thursday unless it's Thanksgiving. Do not make the Seattle Seahawks start a game on a Wednesday like you're going to do this season. Do not make the Rams and 49ers play a game that counts in the NFC West in Melbourne, Australia. That is foolish. Do not play games every Christmas. Go back to primarily being a Sunday, Monday league because less is more. That's what Pete Rozelle believed back in the day, and they don't believe it anymore.
Well, and to that point, less is more. Move the length of the season from 17 to 16, not from 17 to 18. 17's too much now. How many of those games at the end of the season do we see where teams aren't even playing their guys? The Vikings played the Packers the last game of the year. The Packers had their JV out there. No wonder the Vikings ended up over 500, 9-8. You claim, Vikings had a winning season. Yeah, they beat the Packers JV at the end of the season. Get rid of that 17-game season, and please don't go to 18.
Yeah, and I know we got to go, but stop building domes. Stop building these gigantic TV studios. Outdoor football weather games helped create the NFL that we all know and love. You got to keep them around.
Yeah, I agree. All right. We're going to move off of the complaint section now and move into some soccer. We're going to talk to Manny Lagos of Minnesota United coming up next.
Life moves fast, but when that Freddy's hits, you can't help but slow down. Freddy's, this is the good stuff. Freddy's new Hot Honey menu is love at first trip. It'll leave you burning for more.
Stop by any one of Freddy's 6 Minnesota locations.
Seeing clearly matters. Being seen matters more. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Let your adventure begin in Lakeville, Minnesota. We have over 90 places to grab a bite to eat, and we're close to the Mall of America, Valley Fair, and the Minnesota Zoo, plus hotel packages and great rates. Visit Lakeville. We're serious about fun all year round.
Welcome back. We are 10,000 Takes, Wally and Eric, and we're going to talk some soccer now, obviously. World Cup coming to the United States this summer, but besides that, and before that, long before that, more Minnesota United, and joined now by their Chief Development Officer. He, of course, is Manny Lagos, our longtime friend here on the show. Manny, tell me about how this season has gone at the gate. Are people more ramped up for Minu because the World Cup is coming? Is it about the same? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about our fans that follow the team, I think they're pretty ramped up about the season, given how well we did last year, and we made it to the quarterfinals and played really well, and but they're also very nervous because we had a head coach who had done really well for the last 2 years for us. We had him leave. We had 3 new assistant coaches, and then Cameron Knowles, one of those longtime assistant coaches, took over and became our head coach. So exciting that we had a new head coach, but then that creates the uncertainty. And then combined with the league got better. There's a lot of good teams, but overall, I think fans of the Loons are excited about the direction of the club the last couple of years. We keep on getting better and better. So it's exciting. I think they're in a good space. And, I think the excitement of the World Cup, and there's a huge break in our season, by the way. May 23rd, we stop for 7 weeks, and we just enjoy the World Cup like everybody else. So there's a big emphasis on getting as many points as possible before the break, and then the second half of the season will be huge. A lot more games the second half of the season than the first as well.
Yeah, and Manny, at the time of this recording, Minnesota United's been hot. And you've got a goalkeeper in Drake Callender who's replacing Dane St. Clair, Canadian Olympic star, now down there at Inter Miami. their soccer club, and he's been brilliant as of late. And then Kelvin Yeboah got half your goals going into the action against FC Dallas. Talk about these two.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about the uncertainty of the fan base. I think they were uncertain about where this team was going to be, given that we lost the goalkeeper of the year, went to Miami, wanted to play with Messi. We lost Robin Lode, our all-time leading scorer. He went and signed with Chicago for more money. And then we also lost a pretty good center midfielder in Joseph Rosales. We sold him for a couple million to Austin. So there was some uncertainty from the fans, but our signings of Drake Callender, and then we also signed Tomas Chancalay, and then we signed Kyle Duncan. And all three of them have been lights out. Last game, Chancalay had a goal and an assist, 2 assists the game before. Duncan's been running up and down the wing back position, showing his athleticism. And then you mentioned Calvin Yeboah, who kind of went in a little bit of a rut right around the time we sold Tani Olashehi, for about 10 million to Villarreal in Europe. So we weren't sure where Kelvin's head was going to be this year, but he started out outstanding. What I love about all sixes of goals, they've all been in the 6 yard box. It's where center forward should be. It's where they should find their goals, and he's done a great job of that.
Talk about the transition to Cameron Knowles and what the club went through at the beginning of this season, getting used to his system, used to him as a person, getting used to him as a coach. What are your thoughts on that, on how that's progressed?
Yeah, I give a lot of credit to the overall club and the process we've kind of built over the last 10 years of things we've learned and how to build and create a process of hiring a head coach. And certainly a lot of that goes to our new sporting director, Khalid Al-Ahmed, who's done a great job, I think, of integrating the entire club, whether it's the owners, whether it's the CEO, whether it's the executives that I'm a part of. It's really trying to make sure we're hiring good people that align with our values. And Cam hits it right up there. And it's kind of funny. I start doing this interview and we talk about how well and a hot streak we are. And one of the toughest things Cam has to deal with, we signed a superstar, a Colombia international, James Rodriguez. And it's just been these weird moments where he's gotten injured or he was in the hospital with a sickness so he hadn't even really get him on the field that much. And Cam's had to deal with all of that adversity of how to integrate this kind of, I would say, a higher level player that we've ever signed into the squad. So, he's done a great job. He really, I think, lines up exactly where we are as a club and where we want to be. And it's also one of these guys who's been an assistant coach long enough where he's not only just excited the opportunity, but he's almost not a rookie coach because he's been in and around it so long and he knows who he is and he wants to do.
Manny, for decades, you've been one of the soccer pillars in the Twin Cities, whether it's playing or coaching or promoting the sport. The World Cup is approaching in June. Were you surprised / disappointed that the Twin Cities was not one of the venues? I know highly competitive to get a World Cup venue, but you can put the grass inside U.S. Bank Stadium. We know that, and take the corporate name off of it. Were you surprised Minneapolis St. Paul was ignored?
It wasn't necessarily. I mean, I was in the thick of it, and to be honest, and guys, I'll be honest. My love hate of FIFA is strong in that they create some parameters here, and both the Twin Cities and Chicago just couldn't meet them. And I really believe if we wanted the World Cup here, and we had the kind of relationship with FIFA that said, hey, you have to change some of these contracts to allow us to understand that we kind of run our cities a certain way and we can't be on the hook for as much as they wanted. Um, and again, in the end, I it pains me because we are a market that should have a World Cup. But at the same time, when I look at kind of what FIFA's done and a little bit of this preparation of some of these cities and the stress they're going through, whether it's the transportation issues or whether it's just the amount of money it costs for cities to put these on, I'm actually okay with it. Like I said, I do believe the Twin Cities deserves it. I think it's one of the biggest soccer markets now in the country in terms of we get 20,000 people every 2 weeks filling up Allianz Field. So it's definitely a market that deserves to have the specialness of a high level World Cup. But I'm also okay, that FIFA isn't the end all be all. And if they couldn't come to understand, the politics of the Twin Cities and how we kind of operate our government, so be it.
Yeah. You mentioned, I want to circle back to what you said a few minutes ago, 7 weeks off for the league. What are the guys doing that aren't playing on their respective countries' teams?
Yeah, I love it. So first, you just mentioned, so we've got 3 guys now. Right now, they're kind of headed to the World Cup. We've got Michael Boxall, our captain, unbelievable. He's with New Zealand. He actually scored the final goal in qualifying. I think, at his age, this will be his last World Cup if he keeps playing anyways here in Minnesota. So exciting for him. And then we have Carlos Harvey, who's with Panama. And then we have James Rodriguez, our superstar that plays for Colombia and hasn't played a lot for United. He got on the field last Saturday, but we're excited for him as well. So it'll be tough. I was talking to our fitness guys. They'll take at least probably about 7 to 10 days off, and then they'll start doing a fitness component for about 10 to 15 days, and then we'll have literally a mini preseason during the season. So we'll probably get them back about 5 weeks before. No, sorry, 4 weeks before we start on July 23rd. We'll start training the guys to get ready for that coming back from the World Cup.
Explosive growth, Manny, for Major League Soccer. I think MLS is up to 30 clubs right now. In fact, Minnesota United is almost a veteran franchise, and the Loons aren't really that old, but you got San Diego FC, LAFC, Cincinnati, Austin, on and on it goes. Has the league reached its saturation point, or does MLS want more?
Yeah, I would say first thing is timing's great, by the way. This is our 10-year anniversary in MLS. You guys are old enough that we're also doing a 50-year anniversary of soccer in Minnesota. We're kind of starting when the kick started in 1976. So it's going back, but the growth has been amazing. My gut tells me this goes to 32 or 36 teams. Just the way things are going. And really it is because it's getting so big, and there's a couple major markets out there, Detroit, Phoenix, Vegas. I just can't see them not eventually having teams the way that the league is growing. That they'll be about between 32 and 36 is my gut.
Well, Manny, we appreciate you spending some time with us. I also appreciate that you are a guy of multiple sports. You even have an old KG jersey hanging up there behind you, and just in time because KG is back in the fold for the Timberwolves. But I appreciate you coming on and talking some me and you with us tonight.
Appreciate you. I don't know if you guys know, I played a lot of high school basketball today, so I was a big basketball player too. So
all right, fair enough.
It.
Thanks, Manny.
Thanks, Manny. He is Manny
guys.
Lagos. He is the Chief Development Officer for Minnesota United here on 10,000 Takes. Eric and I will be back with more right after this timeout. Stay with us.
Get on the game at St. Croix Casinos in Turtle Lake, Danbury, and Hertel, Wisconsin, your local destination for sports betting. Check out our sportsbook at St. Croix Casinos. From football and soccer to hockey and UFC, you can join the non-stop action. You'll find plenty of options to bet on with our cutting-edge Play Sports kiosks, whether placing live or prop wagers before tuning into the game. That's the book at Turtle Lake, the Red Zone at Danbury, and our sports betting kiosk at Hertel. Find your fortune at St. Croix Casinos.
In Lakeville, Minnesota, dozens of meeting venues are ready to host your next corporate event, banquet, and holiday party. Lakeville has unique conference facilities, a variety of hotels, an abundance of team-building options, and dining that are sure to impress. For suggestions that suit your needs, please call the Lakeville Convention and Visitors Bureau at 952-469-2020 or go to visitlakeville.org. Lakeville, we mean business.
Life moves pretty fast, but not at Freddy's. When that first bite hits, you can't help but slow down. The secret to quality time is just quality and time. That's Freddy's.
Mom, what's wrong with them?
That's called quality time. Don't stare.
Stop by any one of Freddy's 6 Minnesota locations.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect.
Maya?
Oh, I love your earring. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision, it's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Welcome back, and we are done being nice. Now it's time to carve up the commissioners in the NBA and the NHL. Although I think that Gary Bettman has done a reasonably good job as commissioner of the NHL. But the NBA and Adam Silver, they need some changes, man. And I'm going to start right at the top with load management. They have got to figure that out. I know you like to say load management's a load of fertilizer. Well, I agree. I think that load management has been a big problem for the NBA. Look, for years now, and it started probably in the Bird and Magic era, and then Michael Jordan shortly thereafter, where teams and the league are selling their players. So in other words, when the San Antonio Spurs come to town, it's all about Victor Wembanyama. Wembanyama and the Spurs are coming to town, or Steph Curry and the Warriors are coming to town. Well, then they come to town and those guys don't play.
They don't even dress.
No, I mean, Giannis, how many times has Giannis and when the Bucks come to town, has he actually played in Minnesota? I don't remember the last time he has played here. They come here once a year. Giannis and the Bucks are coming to town. You pay anywhere from $75 to $500 for a ticket, and then he doesn't play. That is a load of fertilizer. They got to fix that. I don't know how they do it, but they got to fix it.
Yeah, and it's a huge issue in the NBA, and the old school guys can't stand it because they always showed up to play. Guys like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and company. I think another thing the NBA has to be concerned about, their review system seems rather clunky.
Yeah.
And, you know, it takes a long time for them to figure things out. And I know all these respective sports are trying to find a way to review a play, get it right, but not take 2 days to do it. And I don't think the NBA's quite there yet, although it does get the lead official a lot of face time.
Yeah.
That guy goes right up to this, or gal goes up to the scorer's table, and you know who they are. You know who to boo.
Yeah, they're face first right in that camera. Yeah.
The other thing, and this affects the Minnesota Timberwolves right here in the Twin Cities, Timberwolves Nation. We're going to get Seattle and Las Vegas as expansion teams. The association will. They're going to each pay, $2-3 billion to join the NBA. So, okay, they're going to cash a huge check, these owners. Then they're going to have to move somebody to the east. That's got to be Minnesota. The Minnesota Timberwolves make the most sense. I know New Orleans and Memphis right down the Mississippi River probably think they should be in the east, but they have more natural rivals in the west. Minnesota does not. Denver's probably their biggest rival now. So go to the east, align with Chicago, Milwaukee, Indiana, Cleveland, your Cavs, and that just makes way more sense.
Yeah, it really does. Those are the teams that we play in football, the Vikings.
And time zone-wise,
time zone, they're all in the central with the exception of Cleveland and Indiana.
And Detroit.
Yeah. Okay. How about the National Hockey League? We left that one for last because that's going on right now as well. And their playoffs are going on right now. And I know you have some thoughts on the playoffs.
Well, I think that the way they do it now with the seeding, Gary Bettman, who does have NBA roots, by the way.
He does.
They need to go back to the way they used to do it and the way they do it now in the association. If you're the 1 seed, you play the 8. If you're the 2, you play the 7, etc. This divisional seeding is just odd to me. I mean, having Minnesota play Dallas in round 1 or Buffalo and Boston in the opening round out east, what good does that do you? Because you're going to have a very good team eliminated right out of the gate. Now, if you're going to win a cup, you got to beat good teams eventually. But I think the Wild and the Stars, or the Bruins and the Sabres, have earned the right to play the lower seeds in the postseason, so fix that.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing they need to fix during the regular season, please give me a point system that makes sense. When I pick up and look at the NHL standings, that I don't need some kind of thesaurus to figure it out. It is absolutely ridiculous. You get a point if you lose in overtime. You get 2 if you win. You get 2 and the other team doesn't get any if you win in regulation. How about if we give them 2 for a win and 0 for a loss? And if you want to get rid of the shootout, I'm fine with that too. But I would say if you're going to do the stupid shootout, which is analogous to shooting half-court shots in the NBA or having a home run derby at the end of a baseball game, which, by the way, I hate that for the baseball all-star game.
Kyle Schwarber.
Oh, ridiculous. Let's do it right. You either win or you lose. There are no participation trophies, nor should there be in the National Hockey League.
And you know how you now become a Rhodes Scholar? If you can convince that university in Oxford, England, that you know what the NHL playoffs mean and what all those codes stand for, then you become a Rhodes Scholar.
Yeah.
It's that crazy.
All right. You don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to understand what we say and do in Takes of the Day. I know this whole show has seemed like Takes of the Day, but that's coming up next. Stay with us.
Seeing clearly matters. Being seen matters more. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Get in the game at St. Croix Casinos in Turtle Lake, Danbury, and Hertel, Wisconsin, your local destination for sports betting. Check out our sportsbook at St. Croix Casinos. From football and soccer to hockey and UFC, you can join the non-stop action. You'll find plenty of options to bet on with our cutting-edge Play Sports kiosks, whether placing live or prop wagers before tuning into the game. That's the book at Turtle Lake, the Red Zone at Danbury, and our sports betting kiosk at Hertel. Find your fortune at St. Croix Casinos.
Wally and Eric from 10,000 Takes here in the land of lakes. And if you want sports of all sorts, check us out. We cover all the bases, all the teams in the great state of Minnesota.
Vikings, Twins, Wild, Gophers, Timberwolves, Loons, you name it, we do it. Late night Saturday night on Fox 9 Plus and on the Fox local app.
In Lakeville, Minnesota, dozens of meeting venues are ready to host your next corporate event, banquet, and holiday party. Lakeville has unique conference facilities, a variety of hotels, an abundance of team-building options, and dining that are sure to impress. For suggestions that suit your needs, please call the Lakeville Convention and Visitors Bureau at 952-469-2020 or go to visitlakeville.org. Lakeville, we mean business.
10K Takes on television as we wrap up yet another episode. Big shout out to the viewers of the Twin Ports, the Twin Cities, and Med City, Rochester. They want to know what your mood is. Angry, cranky, sarcastic, Donnie Downer. What are you today?
Well, I wanted to continue on what we were talking about earlier and fixing sports. I want to fix high school sports. Okay. A couple of things. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I think that high school baseball, I think they might want to think about moving that to the fall. Tired of watching high school baseball in the cold and the wet and the damp and the snow of April. But I also think that they need to fix the state tournament setup. And I know you've heard this before, particularly the winter sports. Football has it right. In Class 6A, they got it right. You take the 32 teams that are 90% of them are in the Metro, with the exception of Moorhead, who, oh, by the way, came down and played in the state championship game in Class 6A against Edina. And you play them in one big tournament. You don't have sections for all intents and purposes. You need to do that in basketball, girls and boys. You need to do that in hockey, girls and boys. That's how you're going to get the best state tournament possible. You can't have these teams in bad sections making it to the state tournament while the second best team in the state is in a section with the best team in the state. Doesn't make any sense. Change it, State High School League. You really need to do it.
And the mood meter says cranky Yankee.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes.
Well, speaking of Yankees, I'm going to talk about a guy who used to play for the New York Yankees.
Okay.
His name is Alex Rodriguez. He now is a co-owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves. I was on a recent flight, MSP, to Bozeman, Montana. And on United, they're running the documentary of Alex versus A-Rod on HBO. 3-part series. Actually fascinating. And a very complex guy, A-Rod, who has made his share of mistakes. He's been humbled. I will give him credit. He owns up to every dumb thing he did. He also achieved a ton, and he's now an owner in the NBA. But where I'm going with this is, I'm going to circle back to some suggestions we made earlier. Major League Baseball has an analyst problem, whether it be Fox, NBC, I don't know what you're doing. The game I saw, you had 4, which is way too many. A-Rod's bright, he's knowledgeable, and he's got charisma. I'd sit him down next to Jason Benetti, I'd take him away from Fox, and I'd make him my lead analyst. I think he'd be excellent. And don't tell me that would interfere with his Timberwolves job, because some guy named Tom Brady makes $30+ million a year being Fox's lead NFL analyst, and I think he's co-owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. He has set the template for multitasking.
Yes, he has. All right, time to go.
All right, we will say goodbye. Thanks for tuning us in. We are 10K Takes, your sports ticket.